Prehistory. Around 2000 BC, the Ljubljana marshes in the immediate vicinity of Ljubljana were settled by people living in pile dwellings. Prehistoric pile dwellings and the oldest wooden wheel in the world are among the most notable archaeological findings from the marshland. These lake-dwelling people lived through hunting, fishing and primitive agriculture. To get around the marshes, they used dugout canoes made by cutting out the inside of tree trunks. Their archaeological remains, nowadays in the municipality of Ig, have been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site since June 2011, in the common nomination of 6 alpine states. Later, the area remained a transit point for numerous tribes and peoples, among them the Illyrians, followed by a mixed nation of the Celts and the Illyrians called the Iapydes, and then in the 3rd century BC a Celtic tribe, the Taurasi. Antiquity main article, Emona excavations at the building site of the planned new National and University Library of Slovenia. One of the discoveries was an ancient Roman public bathhouse. Around 50 BC, the Romans built a military encampment that later became a permanent settlement called Ulia Emona. This entrenched fort was occupied by the Legia 15 Apollinaries. In 452, it was destroyed by the Huns under Attila's orders, and later by the Ostrogoths and the Lombards. Emona housed 5,000 to 6,000 inhabitants and played an important role during numerous battles. Its plastered brick houses, painted in different colors, were already connected to a drainage system. In the 6th century, the ancestors of the Slovenes moved in. In the 9th century, they fell under Frankish domination, while experiencing frequent Magyar raids. Not much is known about the area during the settlement of Slavs in the period between the downfall of Emona and the early Middle Ages. Middle Ages, the parchment sheet Nomina Defunctorum, names of the dead, most probably written in the second half of 1161, mentions the nobleman Rudolf of Tarsanto, a lawyer of the Patriarchate of Aquila, who had bestowed a canon with 20 farmsteads beside the castle of Ljubljana, Castrum Lebak, to the Patriarchate. According to the historian Peter Stis' deduction, this happened between 1112 and 1125, thus representing the earliest mention of Ljubljana. Originally owned by a number of possessors, until the first half of the 12th century, the territory south of the Sava where the town of Ljubljana developed gradually became property of the Carinthian family of the Dukes of Sponheim. Urban settlement in Ljubljana started in the second half of the 12th century. At around 1200, market rights were granted to Old Square, which at the time was one of the 3 districts that Ljubljana originated from. The other 2 districts were an area called Town, Mesto, built around the predecessor of the present-day Ljubljana Cathedral at one side of the Ljubljanica River, and New Square at the other side. The Franciscan Bridge, a predecessor of the present-day Triple Bridge, and the Butcher's Bridge connected the walled areas with wood-made buildings. Ljubljana acquired the town privileges at some time between 1220 and 1243. 7 fires erupted in the town during the Middle Ages. Artisans organized themselves into guilds. The Teutonic Knights, the conventual Franciscans, and the Franciscans settled in the town. In the late 1270, Ljubljana was conquered by King Ottokar II of Bohemia. In 1278, after Ottokar's defeat, it became, together with the rest of Carniola, property of Rudolf of Habsburg. It was administered by the Counts of Gorizia from 1279 until 1335, when it became the capital town of Carniola. Renamed Laibach, it would be owned by the House of Habsburg until 1797. In 1327, the Ljubljana's Jewish quarter, now only Jewish street remains, was established with a synagogue, and lasted until Emperor Maximilian I in 1515 succumbed to medieval anti-Semitism and expelled Jews from Ljubljana, for which he demanded a certain payment from the town. In 1382, in front of St. Bartholomew's Church in Siska, at the time a nearby village, now part of Ljubljana, a peace treaty was signed between the Republic of Venice and Leopold III of Habsburg. Early modern Laibach, Ljubljana, in Johan Weikard von Valvazor's work The Glory of the Duchy of Carniola of 1600.